Hey guys, Aaron Cybertron Zhang here, and welcome to week 2 of the Shuckle Premier League. This is a VGC draft league that I joined featuring 20 prominent content creators and players across singles as well as VGC. This week, we're up against KyleAye. Last week, we were up against Joey Pokiem MD to get the league started, and it was one of the craziest draft league sets I've ever played, and I thought it was a really good reintroduction into draft league after not playing for many years. Joey had a really wild draft. Kyle's draft is a little bit more standard in terms of Pokemon that I recognize and have fought against a lot in VGC. He's got Pokemon like Incineroar as well as Amoonguss, for example, so I feel a little bit more in my comfort zone in terms of the matchup here relative to Joey's team, which just had a lot of crazy Pokemon and mythical Pokemon like Manaphy, which I never really fought against before. So, as always, I will do a quick breakdown of the team and the prep that I've done this week before getting into the battles. If you want to just skip to the battles, check out the timestamps down below. And thanks so much, as always, for joining me. It's been fun to get started with Draft League again. The regular season is actually quite short in this league. It's only 8 weeks, and so every week really counts. So, going to do my best to try to bounce back after a really close loss last week. But thank you, as always, for tuning in and for supporting the channel, as well as the Melbourne Rotoms. And if this is content you enjoy, would like to see more of, would really appreciate if you consider leaving a like in the video or subscribing to the channel, as it really does help out a ton. But anyway, let's break down this matchup. So coming into the matchup this week, Kyle's team mainly features Pokemon that we're relatively familiar with here in VGC, which is great because last week when I was playing against Joey, I really felt like I was in a completely different world playing against Pokemon like Manaphy, for example. Joey also had Deoxys and Diancie on his draft, and that made things spookier as well. And so a couple notes about Kyle's team. First of all, it's very specially oriented, as you see, very few physical attackers, which means that Torracat, Wo-Chan, and Paldean Tauros probably not as effective in a matchup like this. Rather, we want to bring those Pokemon into teams that have a lot of physical attackers. And so, as a result, I think it makes pretty good sense to drop all of them. I think Torracat makes the most sense out of the three, maybe to deal with the Amoonguss and Superior, but I think Wo-Chan also could be used for like Pollen Puffs, for example. I think I just don't love Wo-Chan because it actually is weak to a good bit here from the opposing side, and it is, I think, a little bit weaker than Vivillon here, which offers me offense with Hurricane, as well as support with Tailwind and Sleep Powder. Also, in full transparency, Kyle and I both have had really hectic weeks this week, and so I definitely would have liked to put in a little bit more time in the prep process and to actually get the sets that I was thinking about in-game. I'm actually reusing a lot of the sets from last week, mainly because I think the core strategies are actually fundamentally strong enough that I feel like they'll be able to work here. But in Draft League, you don't want to just keep using the same stuff over and over again because that makes you really predictable. One of the reasons I actually did pick this draft was because I felt like just going with the standard stuff would work, but I think, for example, like changing some of the Terra types from last week would be more advantageous here. Fairy Terra on Enamorus, for example, just for more offense, as well as some more defensive Terras, specifically against like Superior or Primarina, for example. Having like a Grass Terra somewhere on like Ursaluna, for example, probably could be pretty strong as well. But overall, yeah, I'm mainly running it back with most of the sets from last week. I changed Cresselia to Psychic and put safety goggles onto it to deal with the Amoonguss a lot more effectively, as opposed to having Moonblast and Mentorb, for example. And then, of course, we have Vivillon this week as well. So with my draft, the general idea is there are a lot of different cores that you can play around. Grimmsnarl Spectre as a lead is really powerful. Vivillon Ursaluna is powerful. Vivillon plus Enamorus is powerful as well. And so we've got a lot of different modes, but of course, a lot of the draft that I have is about enabling the strongest attackers in Spectre, Ursaluna, and Enamorus. So just getting them in good enough positions where you can just dish out massive amounts of damage. I think a lot of the sets from last week actually work really effectively this week as well, and so that's great. For example, Ursaluna, I'm still running Ghost Terra Shadowclaw, and that's because Kyle does have Drifbloom. Drifbloom completely walls Ursaluna if I don't have Shadowclaw, right? Because Facade, Headlong Rush, Earthquake, Protect, which is the standard set you would normally see in VGC, Drifbloom literally is just immune to all of that. And so the Ghost Terra helps get around a potential Fake Out on turn 1, of course. It's also pretty good as a neutral Terra in this matchup. And then more importantly, allows me to just Ghost Terra Shadowclaw and knock out Drifbloom, which is very important here. And then last week I ran Taunt Grimmsnarl, but I think it's actually still pretty good here because there's potential setup from things like Drifbloom or Espathra. And yeah, I think it is nice to stop Amoonguss here as well. But yeah, I think overall, I felt good about the team that I brought into week 1. Joey came up with some really crazy techs and it was really impressive. I want to see, just kind of give it a run back and see how things operate. Vivillon obviously kind of enables a new mode that we didn't feature in week 1 as well. So that's something that I want to test for and see if it can operate and function as well. From Kyle's end, I think I would expect him to mainly go with more of the top half of his draft, and like Amoonguss, Primarina, Spathra, Driftbloom, Serperior, for example, as a 6, I think make a lot of sense. I think like Valiant's not the scariest with Spectrier. Hydreigon, I can Draining Kiss with it as well. And, I've got Enamorus here, and so I think Enamorus should really scare him a little bit away from bringing some of those Pokemon I just mentioned as well. And so, part of the question I have is how will Kyle be able to maintain speed control? Like, you've got some pretty fast Pokemon as Spathra and Serperior, but then everything else is like relatively slow. And so I can utilize either Tailwind to outpace him or set up Trick Room and use Enamorus or Ursaluna in Tailwind or Trick Room, for example. So yeah, that is the general concept behind this week. Like I said, I think I would have liked a little bit more time to come up with some brand new sets, like brainstorming. I was thinking about Calm Mind Spectrier, Calm Mind Enamorus, and like just allow these Pokemon to like set up and then basically become impossible to deal with. Like Enamorus plus Wo-Chien was something I had brainstormed as well, where I can like Calm Mind and then Pollen Puff to heal back up. But overall, I think, I feel okay and pretty good, quite honestly, with the fundamental sets that I had come up with last week. I think because they are just some of the best ways to utilize these Pokemon. But yeah, like I said, in draft, we don't want to just keep using the same stuff over and over again. So that's one of the lessons I have this week. Just be a little bit more cognizant of like how much time I have and try to get some new sets if I'm going to build them in game far in advance of the battle. But yeah, this is what we're going to go with this week against Kyle. So let's see how things play out. All right, we've got Primarina, Incin, no Amoonguss here, which is really interesting. Drifbloom, Spathra, Vikavolt, and the Serperior. Could definitely see a fake out coming out from Incin. Nasty Plot Spectrier seems pretty good here. Vivian can also be pretty disruptive. Enamorus does neutral damage to everything, which is really sweet. I'm thinking we go Grim, Spectrier. Grass could be useful here just for healing. With Fairy Terra, this is pretty solid. This would give me Lunar Blessing. I think Enamorus' damage feels really good here. And then I think I can use Vivian to disrupt and put something asleep. So, let's try this out. Okay. Spectrier, something that I absolutely love using. We'll see if I can will it to a win after a super, super close loss against Joey last week. Okay, it's going to be Incin plus this Spathra. Fine by me. I'm guessing it's probably Fake Out here. I can Taunt into Espathra here, Fairy Terra immediately, and just Nasty Plot, I think. Let me make sure I have the Terra types down from his end. His Espathra is going to be Ghost Terra. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, so I think I like Taunt, Fairy Terra, Nasty Plot. Getting a Nasty Plot up this early on is always good. So it's a Spathra plus Incin lead. It's cool to see that he dropped Amoonguss, honestly, because Amoonguss was the second highest value pick on his team. I respect the decision to drop that. Oh, Terra. Okay, the Spathra just goes for a Protect. That's fine by me. Double Protect. Okay. So we'll taunt the Espathra. Get a little nice Nasty Plot up right now. Great. I really want to see Espathra's moveset. What? Mirror Herb. Opportunist. That's really cool. Okay. Wasn't expecting to see a Mirror Herb there. I think here I would like to... the question now is whether or not we think this is Focus Sash. It is Ghost Terra, so I can obviously just Shadow Ball it. I have Light Screen available. And you know I'm trying to taunt you. So I think I don't mind going for a Light Screen here into a Shadow Ball. Mirror Herb Incin is sick, though. I've never seen it, like, for it to copy like that, either. That's really cool. And honestly, with the Spathra, I'm so used to speed boost that I did not think about opportunists at all, so that's really interesting. No speed boost. We get Shadow Ball off. I assume it's sashed? Yeah. Okay. Lumina Crash. Yeah, it doesn't do half. That's fine. Drain Punch Incin. Whoa. Okay, don't expect to see that frequently. But I think now I can just Reflect. You would expect probably a Protect from a Spathra, but I think I don't want to make any risky plays here. I might as well go for the safe Reflect here. And Protect with Spectrier. Spec will Protect. Ally Switch. Okay. Well, that definitely adds a little bit of fear. What? These sets are crazy. Wait, Mirror Herb Swagger? I didn't even know Incineroar got access to Swagger. Oh my goodness. Okay. I'm draining Kiss into you. I mean, Swagger's a little bit scary, admittedly, but Taunt into the Espathra. They might protect it. Yeah, I think I like switching here. I'll go out into an Amorous. And Draining Kiss. Yeah, I just don't want a Spathra getting another Lumina Crash off. Now with Reflect up, Incin shouldn't KO us with the Flare Blitz. Okay, good protect by a Spathra. I'm still fine though. So Drain Punch, Swagger, Protect. Not a classic Incin at all. Flare Blitz. So that explains the Mirror Herb strategy, which is really cool. This is a little bit scary because I could get confused now as the Spathra copies the attack boost. I think I'm happy to just Dazzling here. Draining Kiss. But I've lost to Swagger before. Okay, let's see. Nice. That was a little bit scary though. Kyle came out with some crazy strats here, though, I have to say. Did not expect that in the slightest. It almost makes me want to switch out the Spectrier, honestly, but we do have screen set up for it. Screen A. Another Swagger comes out. This is terrifying. But thankfully, Swagger's been nerfed since I last lost to it infamously many years ago. I'm gonna hit myself in confusion there, but that's fine. Unfortunately, I can't taunt the Incineroar, which is kind of annoying, because it's Dark type. So Kyle does get a free switch in now. Let's see what he wants to go out into. Vika Bolt. Okay. I feel like we should be in really good shape still here. I do have Mystical Fire here. They could just try to Electric type attack me. Draining Kiss is looking good. Light Screen is up. Honestly, I'm kind of down to Mystical Fire Vikavolt here. Draining Kiss into Incin. No Terra. Okay, nice. +3 Draining Kiss means we basically heal all the way back up. Beautiful. Citrus Berry's still not even consumed yet. Screens are up. Spectre is looking really good. Knockoff gets rid of our specs, but that's okay. So it's Knockoff, Swagger, Protect, Drain Punch. Namorous is confirmed faster than Vikavolt here, which is great. We get Mystical Fire, does so much damage, and drops your special attack. Thunderbolt comes out, but now with Light Screen up and -1. Was that a crit? Oh no, that still did 110 damage. Wow. Feels like choice specs then to me. This instant can't even do damage to an Amoonguss, so I'm happy to just Moonblast here, Draining Kiss here. He doesn't really have speed control going for him, so Spec should be in a really good spot right now. What's this counterplay in the subsequent games? Espathra's is just moveset is interesting. Ally Switch, Lumina Crash, Protect, Swagger, Mirror Herb, Instant, so it can copy an attack. The Drain Punch knockoff combo is interesting. It's certainly like the first time I've seen Incineroar being used this way. Okay, so Spectrier does not get confused. Honestly, I was kind of lucky this game to not eat up any confusions. Like, it's scary because Spectrier is such a key part of my offense, and so the fact that, like, a confusion would be really annoying at any point, right? But the good thing is, by having Draining Kiss and Citrus Berry, I have so much recovery, and with screens up, even if they end up confusing me one turn, I should still be okay. And an Amoonguss snaps out of confusion too. Nice. Yeah, I felt like in this matchup, Fairy coverage was just so good, because there's very few things that resist Fairy. Amoonguss is really the only Pokemon. And with Amoonguss, we have counterplay because I have the Amoonguss. So Primarina is the last one. Just Moonblast now and Draining Kiss. But Opportunist on Espathra is really interesting. I certainly have to respect that a little bit. We finally hit ourselves in confusion, but it's fine. Blast here into Primarina. Encore on Primarina. Okay. These certainly are not like standard VGC sets. I'm honestly learning a lot about these Pokemon, because it's like Incin plus Primarina, not Pokemon that... I mean, Pokemon that you see in VGC very frequently, but certainly with different movesets. And these sets feel like... Like, Encore Primarina, I feel like in singles could be really scary. Encore is also good to know, because it means you can Encore me into a nasty plot. So I have to be careful about setting up in front of Primarina. But now I know Incineroar doesn't have Fake Out. It doesn't have Safety Goggles, which was mainly what I was worried about here. That's kind of like a standard VGC set. So I could go Vivian potentially in this next game. Especially, Espathra isn't speed boosting either. I didn't bring Ursa in that last game. That could come out. CRAZIEST could come out for Lunar Blessing. I mainly think I would actually rather knock out Espathra ASAP rather than give it a special attack boost and then set up with Spectre afterwards. Because I did not think about Opportunist. Alright. So, game 2. We'll see what we got. I think what works in our favor here is Kyle didn't really go for speed control. Serperior is honestly probably the Pokemon I was most worried about. I think the offense that has to offer is really scary with Stellar. So I think that's probably the Pokemon we need to respect the most. Which makes me definitely want to prioritize Vivian more. But I think the same 4 honestly work. I'm thinking about leading Vivian this time around, though. I also could bring Ursaluna, low-key. But knowing the Sash is not on Serperior is a big deal as well. I don't think Ursa's a bad bring. It's just a question of do I want to deny my... I get kind of guaranteed screens in this game, which I think is also a big deal. Vivian and Grimmsnarl is just a little bit passive in terms of damage. Knock off Dream Punch Swagger. I could go Vivian Ursa here as a lead. I don't hate that, honestly. Vivian Ursa. But do I really need to, like... this totally worked in the last game. It's honestly totally okay. But I don't know. I kind of want to try this. I'm going to go Vivian Ursa, Spectrier, and Amoonguss and try this out. Let's see how it goes. I think confirming a bunch of the items is valuable, and then also seeing the terrace here. It is Grass Terra and Vigavolt, so we can Grass Terra to get around Sleep Powder. That's the one thing I kind of respect. But it's going to be Superior Espathra here as the adjustment, yeah. Okay. Tailwind here. Can just Hurricane you immediately. Could also just Sleep Powder. Certainly have a lot of options. We have to respect like Lumina Crash comboing into Vivian, right? Ursa won't do much damage, but I think I can switch into Amoonguss for this slot. Okay, I'm down to Tailwind here, switch into Amoonguss. Although I do think a double up on a Vivian makes a lot of sense from his end. Yeah, Leaf Storm. That doesn't really do too much to us though. Nice. Contrary. Lumina Crash. Oh, it KOs! Okay. That does get the ball rolling. Nice adjustment. I like it. I'm gonna go Spectre here. I think with this I can protect. Thinking about just protect Specs Moonblasting into Superior. You could have Ally Switch though, which I guess is kind of annoying. So maybe I want a Dazzling Gleam instead. Great play by him, his end on turn 1. I love the Superior adjustment. I think maybe Grimspec is fine. I can Light Screen and just Shadow Ball immediately into Superior. And then Fairy Terra Draining Kiss it. I think it's mainly the Ally Switch variants that spooks me out a little bit. Alright, here's the Terra commit. Probably Terra Superior. Try to snipe me off with Stellar Terra. Okay. I do think this is why I was kind of surprised to not see a Speed Boost on a Spathra though, because with Speed Boost you just drop my Special Defense. Okay, it's going to be Terra Blast. Nice call. Reading into my protection really well. Now at +2 special attack. Amoonguss takes that pretty nicely though. It's going to be an attack boost here. Special attack boost. Great double ups. He's reading into my protects perfectly, and Amoonguss does manage to survive that one. Wow, Dazzling does so much there. I think I can just go Draining Kiss into you. Dazzle. It's good to know that damage output. If Dazzling's doing that much, I could have one-shot the Superior, but shoutouts to Kyle for reading into my protects perfectly. I think in the next game I want to just not give him the room to make these predictions. He does go for the Ally Switch. Nice play. So he'll probably knock me out if he hits this Leaf Storm onto Spectrier. He does. I think, honestly, in the next game, I could just go Grim plus an Amoonguss. This game's not over, though. We could still obviously win. Because I still have Ursaluna in the back. But good to know these calcs. Like, he played perfectly this game, right? Made every target correct with the protects, which was well done. Fairly predictable. I think Vivian being slower here was kind of the downside because you could safely double into it. But I learned a lot from this one. I think I could also go Cress. But honestly, I think Grim Spec feels pretty good. I can just go Light Screen and then attack. Primarina. If it's Vigavolt as the last one, Ursa could still pull this off. It is Vigavolt. Okay. Oh, but Primarina's Encore, which actually is really nice for the Ursa here, isn't it? And Ghost Terra. Headlong Rush. Dazzle. See, my Amoonguss was outspeeding the Vikavolt, so Ursa should also be faster than it. I just don't want to protect and get Encored here, though they probably should just Hyper Voice with Primarina. Oh, Primarina protects. Okay. Headlong Rush into the Protect. It's fine. I guess the thing is I can get Encored now into Headlong Rush. Facade there probably actually would have just won the game. Double up onto Vikavolt. So it's Protect, Encore, Primarina. He does bait out my Terra. I could have just Headlong Rush Vikavolt actually, maybe. Maybe that was the better play. Not commit my Terra like that. Oh, but yeah, what is Encore really going to do for him, right? Down to just Facade into Primarina now. I think Amoonguss's damage felt insane in this game, though, so I think I can just go Grim and Amoonguss in the next game. Wait, how are we faster than Primarina? What? Primarina? Why are you so slow? It's like min speed Primarina, I guess, designed for Trick Room? That's the only explanation, right? Because my Ursa doesn't really have speed investment here, but now I can just Facade. There's no Terra available, so we should be good. But I think played a little bit sloppy in this game. I think the Vivillon lead, I was expecting Superior, but Superior plus a faster Pokemon is part of the problem, and he made the really nice double up. But Primarina being slower here ends up being really surprising. Like, I wonder if this was some strategy to utilize under Trick Room potentially with the moveset. Because if Primarina just attacked with Hyper Voice here, I think I would have lost this one. So, yeah, my play could have been a lot cleaner in this one. Like, Vivillon didn't accomplish anything. With Vivillon or Ursaluna, like, it's so obvious that I'm going to want to protect Ursaluna on turn 1. So I could have attacked there, and Amoonguss could have been going for Moonblasts on Superior instead. So, curious what the Primarina set was ultimately. But, yeah, we managed to nab a couple wins here, so GG's to Kyle. Well, I definitely was not expecting some of those sets. The Espathra, the Incineroar, those were absolutely wild, and it just felt like, yeah, we were playing against, super, super unexpected, unorthodox sets, which I think is part of what makes Draft League so fun. You know, Kyle came up with some really cool ideas. He told me after the battle that the idea was actually to skill swap Opportunist onto Incineroar, so then you can Swagger and you've got the Mirror Herb as well, and I've never seen that before, and I think that's really cool, especially because Kyle's team was mainly specially oriented, and I didn't do a lot to prepare for physical damage, right? And so that was one way to actually get your Incineroar very, very powerful, but overall we were able to nab the win. I think there's a lot left to be desired after this week, to be honest. Like, we won, but I think that, like, there was a lot I could have improved on, both in terms of prep and play. Like I mentioned when I covered the team, I was very crunched for time this week, and so we just brought a lot of the same sets from last week. I think the Pokemon were actually fine, but I think adjusting some of the Terra types like I talked about in the team building process would have been probably stronger. Fairy Terra and Amoonguss, for example, would have noticeably made a difference in Game 2 here. Having a defensive Terra to deal with the Superior's Leaf Storm, I think, would have been pretty good as well. And even though we won 2-0, I think like both games I totally could have lost if I, ate a couple confusion hits in Game 1 and in Game 2 if like Primarina was faster, for example. Game 2, I think I also just kind of played sloppy. Like, I got crushed on turn 1, and I was already playing from behind, and then like Dazzling Gleam did a lot but didn't get the knockout onto either. It could have been Moonblast there. Ursaluna could have been going for Facade onto Vikavolt rather than targeting Primarina. But yeah, in the end, like Ursaluna did end up being faster, which I was kind of surprised by, but that ended up working out for us. But point being is I think like if I was a little bit sharper in the prep process, I think like our team is really strong here, and so just a couple of these minor changes would have given me a pretty significant advantage. But I don't feel like I missed out on any of the Pokemon that I didn't bring into this week, so I think that's good. The thing with Pokemon is, win or lose, there's always so much you can learn from in your games, and I think losses or wins like this, I think that don't feel super convincing. I'm thinking, okay, how could I have improved even further to like make it more convincing, essentially, right? Because I think like ideally you want to be winning games feeling like you're in control the entire time, and that was definitely not the case here. Part of it, obviously, with Draft League is going up against completely unexpected strategies. I'm never going to prepare for, honestly, like skill swap and, swagger mirror herb Incineroar, but then it's about like adjusting in the moment once you see these sets, right? And so, yeah. But huge thank you to Kyle for accommodating both of our schedules. We've both been really, really busy, and so I'm grateful to have gotten the battle done ultimately, and of course, happy to have nabbed a win here as well. So we're 1-1 now, 6 weeks left in the regular season. It's a nice bounce back after week 1, but we've got a long way to go. So thanks so much as always for joining me. My name's Aaron CybertronVGC. I'm the coach of the Melbourne Rotoms, and I'll see you all next time. All right, peace.